They told you wealth is about luck, about chance, about being born into the right family with the right name in the right place. But let me tell you, they were wrong. Wealth isn't about circumstance, it's about mindset. Wealth is forged in your mind long before it shows up in your bank account, before opportunity knocks, before the first dollar lands in your pocket. It all starts with a decision, a choice to reject mediocrity, to rise above the ordinary. Here's the truth. You don't need to chase money. You need to train the one thing that attracts it, your mind. But most people aren't taught how. They're trained to stay comfortable, to follow the rules, to play it safe. They've been conditioned to shrink instead of shaping their own destiny. But you're here because you feel it. That fire inside, that restlessness that refuses to go away. That's your soul reminding you of the truth. You were born to create wealth, not just in money, but in impact, in freedom, in purpose. It all starts with mastering your mind, because your mind is either your greatest ally or your biggest obstacle. Right now, most people are stuck, shackled by doubt, paralyzed by fear, drowning in distractions. They wake up reacting to life, consuming noise, addicted to comfort, and their lives, they mirror that chaos. Wealth doesn't begin with a paycheck. It begins in your thoughts. Until you take control of your mental environment, nothing will change. Your reality is a reflection of your beliefs, not the ones you say you have, but the ones deep in your subconscious. If your mind expects struggle, expects lack, expects failure, that's exactly what you'll get. Here's the difference. The wealthy train their minds differently. They don't leave their beliefs to chance. They shape them every single day. Their habits are intentional. Their focus is sharp. They don't wait for luck. They condition themselves for success. So the real question isn't, can I become wealthy? The question is, am I willing to grow into the version of myself who can create wealth? Because wealth isn't for who you are now, it's for who you're becoming. It starts with belief. Not the feel-good kind of belief, the kind forged in fire, the kind that doesn't quit when failure strikes, the kind that keeps going when logic says stop. Napoleon Hill called it definitiveness of purpose. That crystal clear vision of what you want and why it matters. Every great creator had it. Carnegie, Edison, Ford. They weren't lucky, they were decisive. They knew what they wanted so clearly it burned within them. And once your mind has a clear target, it becomes a magnet for the means to achieve it. Decide what you want, decide why it matters, then align every fiber of your being with that decision. Because clarity is power. When you're clear, doubts lose their voice. Distractions lose their pull. The fog lifts. But clarity isn't handed to you. It's earned. It doesn't come from scrolling social media or seeking approval. It comes from sitting in the silence, from facing your fears, from asking yourself the hard question. What are you here to build? What's the one thing you can't leave this world without creating? When you start answering those questions, not with words, but with action, you tap into something most people never do. Vision. The kind of vision that builds empires and turns the impossible into reality. So what's your move? Are you going to stay where you are or step up and become the person you're meant to be? Wealth begins in the mind. It's your choice. Think about it. What sets visionaries like Walt Disney, Henry Ford, and Steve Jobs apart? It's not just talent, it's vision. Disney dreamed up an entire kingdom before a single brick was in place. Ford imagined highways filled with cars when horses were still the main way to get around. Jobs saw the future of technology inside a tiny garage. Vision isn't some far-off fantasy. It's the plan for what's possible. And here's the truth. If you don't create your own vision, the world will create one for you. but it won't be the one you want. It'll be full of fear, limits, and small dreams. So, how do you build a vision so strong it pulls you through obstacles, doubts, and setbacks? It all starts with discipline. Not the kind of discipline that feels like a chore, but the kind that comes from being fully committed. The difference between the wealthy and everyone else isn't talent, it's consistency. They stick with it. They wake up early. They push through when others quit. They don't rely on motivation, they rely on habits. And here's the key. They don't just grind aimlessly, they align their effort with purpose. Because hustle alone isn't enough. Purpose is what makes every step meaningful. It's not something you wait to find, it's something you claim. Purpose is the intersection of what sets your soul on fire and what the world desperately needs. It's what keeps you going when quitting feels easier. And when you connect to that, you become unstoppable. Here's the shift. Stop thinking about money as the goal. Make it a tool. Stop seeing obstacles as barriers. They're sharpening stones. Success isn't about one big moment. It's built in the daily grind, in those small, consistent actions no one sees. And remember this, effort alone won't get you there. If you're grinding without a clear direction, you're just rowing in circles. The wealthy think differently. They think in systems. They ask, how can you create value at scale? How can you multiply your time? How can you build something today that keeps paying you back forever? These aren't just questions for the rich. They are the questions that make people rich. The answers won't come overnight, but just asking these questions can change everything. They'll push you to think and act on a higher level. So ask yourself, what's your vision? What drives you? And how can you align your actions with that purpose? Here's the thing. The world needs you to win. Not just for yourself, but for the people watching you. For the ones who need someone to show them what's possible. Success isn't just about what you achieve, it's about the lives you can impact. Start now. Train your mind, fuel your purpose, and take action. Because when you combine vision, discipline, and purpose, there's nothing you can't do. Your mindset shapes who you are. What you feed your mind determines the life you create. Most people drown in entertainment. But the successful, they focus on real education. Not the kind you get in school, but the kind you gain from experience. Books, mentors, failures, and growth. Here's what the wealthy understand. The right idea, strategy, or connection can save you years of struggle. They don't ask, what does this cost? They ask, what's it costing me not to know this? Think about it. If your ego is louder than your curiosity, you'll stay stuck. But if you fall in love with learning, everything changes. A wealthy mind is flexible. It evolves. It grows. And in today's world where everything is shifting, technology, markets, economies, it's the learners who thrive, not the ones clinging to outdated ways of thinking. The truth is, the beliefs that got you here won't get you where you want to go. It's time to challenge those old inherited limitations. Think about it. What beliefs are holding you back? That money is evil? That success is selfish? That ambition is arrogance? Ask yourself, whose voice is that? Society? A parent? A teacher? It's time to let go of those limiting beliefs. Money is not evil. It's a mirror. It reflects who you are. Wealth doesn't corrupt. It reveals. And ambition? It's the fuel for progress. Success isn't selfish. It's your responsibility. How can you help others if you're struggling yourself? Poverty serves no one. Start training your mind to expect abundance. Welcome it. Celebrate it. What you reject, you repel. Learn to receive with the same grace you give. Believe you're worthy of wealth, not someday, but now. It isn't arrogance, it's alignment. The universe responds to certainty, not doubt. And certainty begins with gratitude. Gratitude isn't just a feel-good trend. It's powerful. It plants the seeds of success. When you're grateful, not just for what you have, but for what's coming, you're telling the universe, I already have enough. I am already rich. And from that energy, abundance flows. But let me tell you, the journey to wealth isn't easy. The universe will test you. There will be setbacks, delays, failures. These aren't meant to break you. They're meant to prove you. Resilience is the gatekeeper of success. Everyone wants the reward, but few will wrestle with the resistance. You have to build mental strength. Be willing to fail publicly, face rejection, and rise again stronger. Pain isn't the enemy, it's the teacher. Turn rejection into redirection. Turn fear into fuel. Turn pressure into diamonds. Every success story you've ever heard, whether it's Lincoln, Disney, or Edison, was built on relentless persistence. It's not about never messing up. It's about not giving up. People will doubt you, mock you, and underestimate you. Let them. Their opinions don't decide where you are headed. Every late night, every loss, every tough moment, it's all shaping you into the person who can handle the life you are working for. Think of it as your training ground. Embrace it and keep pushing forward. Because wealth isn't just about money, it's about who you become along the way. So let's get to it. You're not being buried, you're being planted. Growth can feel like a struggle, sure. But every step you take, every ounce of belief you pour in, is setting the stage for your breakthrough. Not someday, not maybe. You will rise. But rise into what? It's not just about a bigger bank account or fancy cars or flashy status symbols. It's about becoming someone new. Someone who's been through the fire, shaped by purpose and rooted in truth. Someone who doesn't wait for permission or second guess what's possible. You know, that unshakable belief, that's real wealth. Wealth doesn't start with money, followers, or a booming business. It starts with who you become. But here's where most people miss the mark. They chase what's on the outside. They crave likes, applause, validation. They forget to build the foundation within. The real question is, can you lead yourself when no one's cheering? Can you stay committed to your vision when there's no proof it will work yet? Because wealth isn't built in the spotlight. It's built in the silence. And this is your vision. It's built in the early mornings when the world is asleep, but you're planning, creating, and learning. It's built in the quiet nights when the doubts creep in, but you keep showing up. Those unseen moments matter more than you think. Success doesn't reward effort alone. It rewards alignment. True alignment happens when your thoughts, words, and actions all move in the same direction toward your goal. You don't need more followers, more motivation, or more time. You need alignment. Your thoughts must match your goals. Your words must reflect your worth. Your actions must align with the future you're building. Anything less? That's self-sabotage disguised as procrastination or distraction. So how do you find this alignment? Through daily rituals, rituals of focus, clarity, and purpose. Treat each day like it matters, because it does. Every morning you have the opportunity to write the next chapter of your life. Will you fill it with distractions and excuses, or will you invest in building the future only you can create? Time is your most valuable resource. Treat it like gold. Every wasted hour is a missed deposit into your future wealth. If you don't take charge of your day, the day will take charge of you. The wealthy understand this. They don't wake up into chaos. They take control. They start their mornings with intention. They prime their mindset before diving into emails or social media. They prioritize themselves first because they know when you win the first hour, you win the day. And when you win the day consistently, you win the life you dream of. This is the difference between the average and the extraordinary. It's not luck, it's not privilege, it's discipline. Rituals that keep you focused even when the world tries to pull you off course. The distractions will come, gossip, mindless scrolling, fake urgency, but you must protect your mind like it's a fortress. What you allow in shapes your reality. Feed it garbage, and don't be surprised if mediocrity follows. But feed it greatness, wisdom, inspiration, and you will rise, no matter where you started. Your focus is the fuel that drives your life. So ask yourself, what are you feeding it? The answer to this question shapes everything you do, everything you achieve. Here's the truth. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. But focus isn't something you're born with. It's a muscle. And like any muscle, it needs consistent training. That means cutting out distractions, learning to say no without guilt, and fiercely protecting your peace. Why? Because your peace is your foundation. It's your most valuable investment. And you need to treat it that way. This isn't easy. It requires sacrifice. You'll have to say no to temporary pleasures like parties, comfort, or convenience, not because you don't enjoy life, but because you love your future too much to sabotage it. Every sacrifice isn't a loss, it's leverage. You're giving up something you can always have later for a chance to create something extraordinary right now. Something you may never get another shot at. The clock is ticking. This moment, this year, this phase of your life, it won't come around again. You'll never be this prepared, this motivated, or this close to your goals again. So don't delay. Stop negotiating with your dreams. Burn the backup plan. Stop waiting for the perfect time and decide, I'm all in. Here's the reality. If your dreams don't scare you, stretch you, or demand more than you think you have, they're not dreams, they're just decoration. You weren't born to settle for less. You were born to take charge of your life, to master your thoughts, your time, your purpose. When you take control of your inner world, the outer world will follow. This is what happens when you build a mindset for success. You stop wondering if and start deciding when. You stop seeking approval and start giving yourself the authority to act. You shift from reacting to life to designing it. And that kind of life requires one critical thing: faith. Not blind faith, but bold, unshakable belief. The kind of faith that keeps you moving even when the path ahead is unclear. The faith that keeps building when everything seems to crack. The faith that whispers, I am capable, even when doubt screams otherwise. Faith isn't about never doubting. It's about standing firm in the face of it. It's about believing so deeply and fiercely that nothing can shake you. That belief, it's your foundation, it's the missing piece. Success isn't just about being clear, disciplined, or relentless. It's about believing in something before it exists, in the vision you hold before anyone else can see it. Every great achievement in history didn't start with proof. It started with a thought, a dream, and some serious energy. If you believe in your vision before it's real, you're already halfway there. Your future depends on where you focus. So, what are you going to do with it? You can feel it, right? That pull toward something bigger. A version of you that isn't tied to old limits or willing to settle for good enough. It's more than a dream. It's a calling. And right now, you're being asked to step up. Hold on to your vision, even when it's tough, even when people doubt you, laugh at you, or question your choices. Hold it together when things fall apart, when nothing seems to work, and failure feels like it's knocking on your door. Why? Because someone who's truly committed doesn't quit. They adapt. They learn. They grow. And eventually, they rise to claim what's theirs. Always. Look at you now. You're transforming not because the world around you has changed, but because something inside you has awakened. That quiet strength, that unshakable knowing is building within you. You've felt it. The realization that you were never meant for mediocrity. You're not here to play small or live by someone else's rules. You're here to create a life so intentional, so powerful, that it redefines what's possible, not just for you, but for everyone watching. This is where it begins. Legacy isn't a someday thing. It's built in the here and now, with every choice, every belief, every step forward. You're not waiting for permission or applause. You're moving boldly, knowing that who you are becoming is already rewriting your story. But let's be real, this isn't easy. Inside you, a battle rages. One part of you craves comfort, clinging to the safety of the familiar. The other part, it's hungry. Hungry to grow, to conquer, to create something extraordinary. And every decision you make tilts the balance toward the future you're building or the past you're leaving behind. So choose wisely. Every thought is a vote for the person. Every action declares your commitment to that vision. This isn't just about wealth or success. It's about something bigger. You're training for impact, for influence, for the kind of power that shifts generations. Wealth isn't just a number in your bank account. It's a mindset, a frequency, a way of showing up in the world with purpose and presence. From here on out, everything changes. You're moving differently, thinking differently. You're done waiting for signs, approval, or validation. No more playing small. Let them doubt you. Let them misunderstand your drive. That's not your problem. The truth is, they've never seen anyone like you. Someone who's clear, confident, and determined to take charge of their future. You're not here to fit into anyone's mold. You're building something extraordinary. You walk into every room like you own it, speaking with purpose and acting every day like your vision is already real, because it is. You're not just creating a life, you're building a legacy, and the world will feel the impact. You don't sit around waiting for wealth to find you. You create it. You're not hoping for opportunities. You're out there building them. Success isn't something you wish for. It's something you live. It all starts from within, a mind you've trained to be unshakable, strong, clear, focused. Now, the world has no choice but to notice. Let them say you've changed. Let them call you different. They're right. You have. Your mind isn't a playground for doubt anymore. Fear doesn't run the show. Scarcity isn't calling the shots. Your mind is focused, disciplined, and unstoppable. No second guessing, no hesitation, no waiting for anyone's permission. You've got this. It moves forward, always forward, step by step, day by day, until what once felt like a dream becomes the life you live. And when the world sees what you've built, what you've become, they'll wonder, they'll ask how you did it, what changed, what your secret is. And you'll answer, not with arrogance, but with calm confidence. Because deep down, you know the truth. The secret is simple. You trained your mind. You made a choice to control your future, to steer your destiny, to rise above limits. When your mind is trained, nothing can stop you. Not fear, not setbacks, not time, not anyone. A trained mind creates its reality, builds its empire, and shapes its own fate. Now it's your time. Your path is clear. Go. Build what's yours. Your future is waiting.